The Treasure Fleet, also known as the Chinese Treasure Fleet, was a series of naval expeditions led by the legendary Chinese explorer Zheng He during the early 15th century. These expeditions were an impressive display of China's naval power and technological advancements, as well as a demonstration of the country's economic and cultural influence in the region. The Treasure Fleet was commissioned by the Yongle Emperor of the Ming Dynasty, who ruled China from 1402 to 1424. The primary purpose of these expeditions was to establish Chinese dominance in the Indian Ocean and to expand China's influence through trade and diplomacy. The fleet consisted of hundreds of ships, including massive treasure ships that were several times larger than any other ships at the time. Zheng He, a eunuch who rose to prominence in the Ming court, was appointed as the commander of the Treasure Fleet. He was an experienced sailor and diplomat who had previously traveled to various parts of Asia and Africa. Under his leadership, the Treasure Fleet embarked on a total of 7 voyages between 1405 and 1433, visiting various countries and regions in Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Middle East, and East Africa. The Treasure Fleet was not just a military expedition, but also a diplomatic and cultural mission. Zheng He and his crew carried gifts and tributes from the Ming Emperor to foreign rulers, establishing diplomatic relations and fostering trade agreements. The fleet also brought back exotic goods, animals, and plants from the countries they visited, enriching China's cultural and scientific knowledge. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Treasure Fleet was the sheer size of the ships. The treasure ships, in particular, were massive wooden vessels that could reach up to 400 feet in length and 160 feet in width. These ships were equipped with advanced navigational instruments, including compasses and astrolabes, and were capable of carrying hundreds of crew members, soldiers, and passengers. The Treasure Fleet's voyages were not without challenges. Zheng He and his crew faced storms, pirates, and other dangers at sea, but they managed to overcome these obstacles through their skillful navigation and diplomacy. The fleet was also involved in several military engagements, using its superior firepower to protect Chinese interests and assert its dominance in the region. Despite its impressive achievements, the Treasure Fleet's expeditions were eventually halted by political and economic factors. The cost of maintaining such a large fleet was deemed unsustainable, and the Ming Dynasty shifted its focus to domestic issues and defending its borders from northern invaders. The Treasure Fleet was disbanded, and China turned inward, closing itself off from the outside world for centuries. The legacy of the Treasure Fleet lives on as a testament to China's maritime prowess and cultural exchange with other civilizations. Zheng He's voyages helped to spread Chinese influence and knowledge to distant lands, paving the way for future explorers and traders. The Treasure Fleet remains a symbol of China's golden age of exploration and a reminder of the country's rich maritime heritage.